The world is not what you think it is. Everything around you has been carefully designed to keep you in line. That feeling you have that whispers that something isn't right, it's not in your head. It's the result of a system that was never built for you. From the moment you took your first breath, the world began shaping you. Not to think or to question, but to obey. They gave you stories about what it means to live a good life. They gave you a blueprint, a path to follow, and told you that if you played by the rules, you'd be rewarded. But here you are, doing everything right, and yet something still feels off. If you've ever questioned what most people accept without thought, then you already know something is deeply wrong. And the truth is, the world is designed this way. The system does not want thinkers or visionaries. It wants compliance. It wants efficiency and predictability. It does not want you to wake up. These aren't conspiracy theories. This is reality. A reality so deeply embedded into your life that you mistake it for the natural order of things. But now you're here, and that means you're starting to see. The cracks in the illusion are showing. The question is, will you keep pretending or will you finally wake up? Because once you see the truth, there is no going back. They don't want you to know this, but intelligence is not rewarded in society, it is suppressed. From the moment you enter the system, you are not taught to think, you are trained to comply. You are given instructions, given rules, given formulas to memorize, but never taught how to question the very structures that shape your reality. The smartest minds are not those who rise to the top. They are the ones most likely to be ignored, dismissed, or beaten into submission. The world was not built for people who see too much, who think too deeply, who refuse to accept the script they were handed. It was built for obedience, and the war against intelligence has been happening for far longer than you realize. Schools do not exist to educate you. They exist to shape you. From the first day you walk into a classroom, you are placed inside a system designed to mold you into a predictable, compliant worker. Your curiosity is stripped away, replaced with standardized tests, rigid structures, and meaningless repetition. You are not rewarded for asking why, you are rewarded for following instructions. You are taught that success is measured by memorization, not understanding. That intelligence is not about thinking differently, but about how well you can regurgitate pre-approved answers. The most obedient students are praised. The ones who challenge authority are labeled troublemakers. If you ever found yourself staring out the window, wondering why everything felt so dull, so slow, so painfully shallow, it's because the system was not designed to challenge you. It was designed to contain you. And it doesn't stop at school. It extends into every part of your life. The media floods you with distractions, keeping your mind too occupied to focus on anything real. Useless gossip, reality television, mind-numbing viral trends, an endless cycle of noise designed to prevent you from ever sitting in silence and asking real questions. The moment you start thinking for yourself, the system fights back. It bombards you with artificial urgency, keeping you trapped in a loop of low-level stimulation so you never notice the deeper truths hidden in plain sight. The most dangerous thing you can do in a world built on control is think for yourself. And that is why intelligence is not encouraged. It is feared. The system does not want independent thinkers. It wants people who follow the rules without question. Those who break free from the mental conditioning are labeled difficult, arrogant, or out of touch. The more you resist the programming, the more they try to pull you back in. Family, friends, co-workers, all conditioned to believe that stepping outside the boundaries is reckless, foolish, or even dangerous. They are not the enemy. They are simply doing what they have been trained to do. Protect the illusion. Some knowledge is too risky to share on YouTube. That's why we go even deeper in our private newsletter, Insights Academy, where we uncover what can't always be said here. You'll also receive a free copy of the Kybalion, a text that has guided those seeking hidden wisdom for over a century. Sign up at the link below while it's still available. Now you see it, you feel it. That sense of isolation, that frustration. that nagging feeling that something isn't right, it's all proof that you were never meant to fit into this system. And that is your greatest advantage. Because the moment you realize the game is rigged, you can stop playing by their rules. The world does not belong to those who obey. It belongs to those who learn how to think beyond the limits they were given. The only question is, are you ready to break free? You have felt it your entire life, the sense that you don't quite belong. Conversations feel empty, repetitive, predictable. The topics people obsess over seem meaningless. The way they accept things without question, the way they seem comfortable living inside a system that keeps them blind, it never made sense to you. And at some point, you started wondering if the problem was you, if you were the one who didn't fit, if you were the one who needed to change. But that was never the case. You are not the problem, the world is. Society was not built for people who see too much. It was built to keep things simple, digestible, and easy to control. It was not designed for people who analyze, who question, who need things to make sense on a deeper level. You think in patterns while others see randomness. You seek depth while others are content with surface-level distractions. You speak in ideas while most people speak in emotions. This is not a flaw. This is not something you need to fix. But the world has convinced you otherwise. From an early age, you were trained to suppress the parts of you that didn't conform. You learned to stay quiet when people dismissed your thoughts. You learned to lower your expectations when conversations never went beyond the obvious. You learned that most people do not want to think, they want to feel comfortable. And if your intelligence, your questions, your observations made them uncomfortable, then you were the one who had to change. Over time, you may have even tried to blend in, to ignore the thoughts that set you apart, to force yourself to engage with the same shallow distractions everyone else seemed to enjoy. But no matter how hard you tried, you could never fully silence that part of you that knew something was wrong. You see the world differently because the world is different than what they tell you it is. Most people live inside an illusion, a carefully crafted reality where everything feels normal, safe, predictable. They do not question because they do not even realize there is something to question. They do not see the patterns, the systems of control, the way they are being manipulated because they were never taught how to see. They are programmed to follow, to accept, to believe that this is just the way things are. But you see past the illusion. You recognize that the world is not what it appears to be, and for that, you feel alone. This is the cost of awareness. It is the burden of intelligence in a world that rewards ignorance. It is the price of seeing through the game while everyone else is still playing it. And it can feel isolating, frustrating, even exhausting. But here's the truth they don't want you to realize. You are not alone. There are others who see it too. Others who have felt the same frustration, the same disconnection, the same sense that they were never meant to fit into this world as it is. The difference between those who remain trapped and those who break free is simple: awareness. Once you understand that the world was never built for people like you, you stop trying to fit in. You stop searching for approval from people who do not understand you. You stop waiting for the world to recognize your value and start creating a reality where you don't need permission to exist as you are. They want you to feel like an outsider so that you doubt yourself. They want you to question your own mind so that you never question the system. But now you know the truth. The system was never meant for you because you were never meant to be controlled. The real question is, now that you see it, what will you do? You've seen it happening all around you. People aren't just distracted, they're getting dumber. Conversations are getting more shallow, attention spans are shrinking, and critical thinking is being replaced with blind reactivity. It's not just that intelligence is rare, it's that it's being actively erased. And the scariest part, most people don't even notice. They believe this is just the natural progression of society, that things evolve, that entertainment changes, that people adapt to new ways of thinking. But this isn't adaptation. This is regression, and it's happening by design. The system does not want a population of thinkers. It does not want independent minds capable of questioning authority, seeing through deception, or building something outside of the framework they have designed. It wants consumers. It wants obedient workers. It wants a society that does not challenge, does not resist, does not step outside the narrow lanes that have been paved for them. And the best way to ensure this? Lower the overall intelligence of the population. Make deep thinking feel exhausting. Make complexity seem unnecessary. Make critical thought so rare that those who engage in it are seen as outcasts, not visionaries. This is not a theory. It is happening right in front of you. Schools no longer teach students how to think. They teach them what to think. Memorization has replaced analysis. Rote learning has replaced curiosity. Standardized tests have replaced intellectual exploration. The smartest students are not rewarded for their intelligence. They are punished for thinking differently. The ones who ask too many questions, who challenge the curriculum, who refuse to accept information at face value, they are seen as disruptive, difficult, a problem to be managed. And when those students leave school, they enter a world that continues to enforce the same mindless obedience. Entertainment is designed not to inspire, but to pacify. Storytelling used to challenge people, to push boundaries, to force audiences to think critically about themselves and the world around them. Now, everything is predictable, safe, formulaic. Movies follow the same recycled plots. Music is engineered to be repetitive and addictive. News is no longer about information, it's about emotional manipulation. Outrage replaces nuance. Sensationalism replaces truth. Everything is designed to make you feel, not think. Social media has accelerated the decline. Attention spans have collapsed, and people no longer seek depth, they seek speed. Posts are getting shorter. Conversations are reduced to reactionary sound bites. No one takes the time to process information, to analyze, to ask themselves if what they're reading is even true. They just react, they scroll, they consume, and every time they do, they become more conditioned to expect instant gratification, more addicted to stimulation, less capable of sitting with a thought long enough to understand it. And this is exactly what the system wants. A dumbed-down society is an easy-to-control society. A society that does not think deeply is a society that does not question power. The less people analyze, the more they accept. The more they accept, the easier they are to govern, to manipulate, to turn into exactly what the system needs: mindless workers, addicted consumers, obedient citizens. And for those who see it happening, the frustration is unbearable. Watching people willingly surrender their intelligence, their ability to think for themselves, their very awareness of reality, it's like witnessing the slow death of civilization itself. But there's something the system didn't plan for. Some people are immune to this conditioning. Some people refuse to be dumbed down. Some people still think, still question, still recognize what's happening. If you've made it this far, that means you're one of them. You're not like the rest. You still have the ability to resist. But knowing is not enough. Awareness is only the first step. The real challenge is figuring out how to escape a world that is designed to keep you asleep. Because if you don't find a way out, you risk being pulled back in. The system is counting on you giving up, on you lowering your standards, on you deciding that it's easier to just blend in. But the moment you do that, you lose. You become just another part of the machine, and that's exactly what they want. The most valuable resource in the world is not money, not power, not even time. It's attention. Whoever controls your attention controls your mind. And right now, your focus is under attack from every direction. The system has built an entire ecosystem designed to hijack your ability to think, to reflect, to question. Your phone, your social media feeds, your entertainment, all of it is engineered to keep you in a state of endless distraction. Because a distracted mind is a powerless mind. They don't want you to sit in silence. They don't want you to take a moment to reflect. They don't want you to notice the patterns, the manipulation, the way your reality is being shaped without your consent. They want your mind occupied, overstimulated, bouncing from one piece of meaningless content to the next, so you never stop long enough to see the bigger picture. And it's working. Think about how often you reach for your phone. Think about how many times you open an app without even realizing why. You tell yourself you're just checking something quickly. But minutes turn into hours, and before you know it, you've fallen into another endless scroll. The algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. It feeds you exactly what will keep you engaged, what will keep you reacting, what will keep you coming back for more. And the more you consume, the less you think. The less you think, the easier you are to control. This isn't an accident. It's by design. The companies that run these platforms don't sell content. They sell your attention. Every second you spend scrolling, watching, clicking, they are making money. Your distractions are their business model. And the more addicted you become, the more predictable you are. Predictability is power. If they can control what you see, they can control what you think. If they can control what you think, they can control what you believe. And once they control what you believe, they control you. But it's not just social media. Everything around you is designed to steal your focus. News headlines are no longer about informing you. They are about provoking you. Sensationalized stories, emotional triggers, political outrage, constant fear, keeping you in a state of stress, anxiety, and division ensures you are too mentally exhausted to question the deeper truths. Meanwhile, entertainment has become an escape, not an expansion. It doesn't challenge you, it numbs you. It keeps your mind occupied with trivial drama, repetitive narratives, and shallow distractions, so you never notice what is happening behind the curtain. The result? A population that no longer has the capacity for deep thought. People who cannot focus long enough to read a book, to analyze a complex idea, to sit with a thought without reaching for the next hit of dopamine. And when a society loses its ability to focus, it loses its ability to resist. It loses its ability to think critically. It loses its ability to break free. The war for your attention is the war for your mind. If you cannot control your own focus, you cannot control your own life. The system knows this. That's why it will do everything in its power to keep you plugged in, distracted, overstimulated, and too exhausted to fight back. But now you see it. Now you understand what they are doing. The only question is, will you take your focus back, or will you let them keep stealing it from you? Because in the end, whoever controls your attention controls you. You've been told your entire life that intelligence is an advantage, that being smart will set you apart, that knowledge is power. But if that were true, why does it so often feel like a burden? Why does it feel like the more you understand, the more disconnected you become? Why does it seem like intelligence isolates you rather than elevates you? The truth is, the world was never designed for people who think too deeply. It was built for those who follow, not for those who question. Intelligence, in a system designed to suppress it, is not a gift, it's a curse. You see things before others do. You connect dots that most people don't even know exist. While others are comfortable accepting things at face value, you can't help but break them down, analyze them, question them. And for that, you are labeled difficult, arrogant, too serious, too intense. Conversations feel repetitive, small talk feels unbearable, and the things that excite most people seem painfully empty to you. You crave depth, complexity, meaning, but the world is optimized for the shallow, the predictable, the easy. This is the intelligence trap. You think faster, deeper, and further than most, but instead of being rewarded for it, you are forced to slow yourself down just to be understood. You learn to hold back your thoughts because explaining them is exhausting. You simplify your ideas so they don't overwhelm others. You dumb yourself down to fit into a world that was never built for you. And over time, it wears you down. It makes you question if something is wrong with you. It makes you wonder if it would be easier to just stop thinking, stop questioning, stop seeing. And that is exactly what the system wants. It wants to convince you that your intelligence is a problem, that you are the one who needs to change, that your frustration with the world is your fault. But it's not. The frustration you feel is not a flaw in you. It is a flaw in the world. The loneliness, the disconnect, the exhaustion. It is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is proof that you were never meant to exist inside this broken system. And that is your greatest advantage. Because the moment you understand that the world is not designed for you, you stop trying to conform to it. The system conditions intelligent people to believe that they are powerless. But that is the biggest lie of all. Intelligence alone will not save you, but understanding how to use it will. The real challenge is not just seeing the truth. It is learning how to navigate a world that is threatened by it. It is learning how to leverage your intelligence instead of being trapped by it. It is learning how to build a life where you are no longer forced to shrink yourself just to survive. Most people will never understand what you see. They will never think as deeply as you do. They will never question the things you question. But that is not a weakness. That is your power. The only question is, will you use it, or will you let the world convince you that you were never meant to? The system is not broken. It works exactly as it was designed, to keep you in place, to make sure you never rise above your assigned role, to ensure that your potential remains untapped. You were never meant to escape. You were never meant to think beyond the limits they set for you. Every part of your life has been structured to keep you distracted, exhausted, and dependent on the very system that holds you back. And the worst part, they've convinced you that this is normal. It starts early. From the moment you enter school, you are conditioned to believe that success is about obedience. Follow the rules, memorize the answers, and pass the tests. The students who challenge authority, who ask too many questions, who refuse to accept things as they are punished. Not physically, but mentally, socially, emotionally. They are labeled difficult, disruptive, and uncooperative. And so, most people learn quickly. Do not think for yourself. Do not step out of line. Do not question why things are the way they are. But what they don't tell you is that school was never designed to educate you. It was designed to prepare you for a life of controlled mediocrity. You are taught just enough to be functional, but never enough to be truly independent. You are trained to work within the system, not outside of it. You are given a set of beliefs about success, about intelligence, about how the world works, and you are never encouraged to question any of it. Because the moment you do, the entire illusion starts to fall apart. And when you leave school, the system continues to tighten its grip. You are funneled into a job market that rewards compliance, not innovation. You are told that hard work leads to success, that the only way to achieve security is to dedicate your life to a career that will drain your time, your energy, your creativity. You trade your best years for a paycheck, believing that if you just work hard enough, if you just prove yourself, you will be rewarded. But no matter how much effort you put in, the reward never comes. The promotions go to the people who play the game, not the ones who think for themselves. The system does not reward intelligence. It rewards predictability. And when you finally start to see the truth, when you begin to recognize that something is wrong, they have already prepared a safety net to catch you. A system of distractions, entertainment, consumerism, designed to keep you too busy, too entertained, too overstimulated to ever take action. They sell you temporary relief instead of real change. Buy this, watch that. Escape for a moment, but never stop long enough to break free. And if you ever start to resist, if you ever try to create something of your own, they will use the final weapon against you: fear. Fear of failure, fear of uncertainty, fear of stepping away from the security they promised you. They have trained you to be afraid of the very thing that could set you free. Because as long as you fear the unknown, as long as you believe that leaving the system is dangerous, you will remain trapped in the illusion they created for you. And that is how they win. Not by forcing you to stay in line, but by making you choose to do it yourself. But now you see the trap. Now you understand that the system is not here to help you. It is here to contain you. The real question is, will you keep playing the role they assign to you, or will you finally take back control? Because once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. And the choice you make next will define everything. Once you see the system for what it is, there is no going back. The illusion has shattered, and now you are faced with the truth. Everything you were taught about success, happiness, and purpose was designed to keep you in line. The world is not what it seems, and neither is your place in it. Most people will never realize this. They will continue to wake up, go to work, consume distractions, and fall asleep, repeating the cycle until their time runs out. They will never question why they are exhausted, why they feel empty, why nothing ever feels like enough. They will never see the cage because they have been trained to believe it does not exist. But you are not like them. You are starting to wake up, and that makes you dangerous. The system is built on one thing: control. Control over your time, control over your mind, control over your beliefs. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to manage. This is why they train you to seek approval, to follow instructions, to fear stepping outside of the system. They do not need to chain you down physically. They do not need to tell you that you are a prisoner. All they have to do is make you believe that you have no other choice. And the moment you accept that lie, the moment you internalize their version of reality, you become just another piece of their machine. But something inside you resisted. You questioned things you were not supposed to question. You felt like something was missing, like you were meant for something more. And you were right. The problem is not that you don't fit into the world. The problem is that the world was never built for people like you. It was built for those who follow the rules, who accept things as they are, who never step beyond what they were given. But you were never meant to follow. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to wake up. Most people will never get to this point. They will feel the frustration, the emptiness, the disconnection, but they will silence it with distractions. They will drown it out with entertainment, with work, with artificial goals designed to keep them occupied. And if that doesn't work, they will convince themselves that this is just how life is, that there is nothing to question, nothing to resist, nothing to change. They will stay in the system because it is easier, because it is comfortable, because they have been trained to fear the alternative. But you are here now, and that means you are ready to see the truth. Intelligence alone will not save you. Awareness alone will not set you free. You have to take action. You have to break out of the cycle. You have to stop waiting for permission to live on your own terms. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you a way out. You have to create it yourself. The system does not want you to wake up, because the moment you do, you become something it cannot control. You become something it fears. And once you understand that, you realize the only real choice you have left. Will you stay asleep, or will you finally take back your mind? Waking up is not enough. Seeing the system for what it is does not free you from it. Awareness without action is useless. This is where most people fail. They realize that the world is a carefully designed machine, that their thoughts, their desires, their entire lives have been shaped without their consent. But instead of breaking out, they freeze. They become trapped between two realities. One they can no longer believe in, and another they don't know how to navigate. This is the most dangerous place to be, because this is where the system pulls you back in. They rely on your hesitation. They count on your fear. Because even though the illusion is a lie, it is a comfortable lie. Leaving it behind means facing the unknown, stepping outside of everything you were taught to believe. And the truth is, the system doesn't even need to stop you. It doesn't have to force you to stay. It just has to make leaving feel too risky. It has to convince you that the outside world is cold, uncertain, unstable. It has to make you believe that even though you see the trap, it's safer to remain inside it. And that is how they win. They do this in subtle ways. They make independence seem unrealistic. They tell you that you need a degree, that you need a career, that you need the security of a system that was designed to exploit you. They convince you that your dreams are just that, dreams, that thinking differently is dangerous, that breaking away is irresponsible, that trying to build something for yourself is a waste of time. And so, most people don't. They settle for the life they were given. They stay in jobs they hate, in routines that drain them, in a world that was never built for them. They convince themselves that this is just the way things are, that the weight on their shoulders is normal, that the feeling of emptiness is just part of life. But it's not. It's a choice, and you do not have to make it. The only way out is to stop playing by their rules. Stop believing that success is defined by how well you fit into the system. Stop seeking validation from people who are still trapped. Stop waiting for the right time, for the right opportunity, for someone to give you permission to live on your own terms. The moment you stop asking for approval, you take back control. The moment you stop seeing the world through their framework, you start building your own. Escaping the system doesn't mean running away from it. It means learning how to operate above it. It means understanding how power works, how influence works, how real wealth is created. It means learning how to think for yourself in a world that has trained you to follow. It means taking back your time, your attention, your energy, and using them for something that actually matters. Most people will never do this. Most people will choose the comfort of the lie over the uncertainty of the truth. But you are not most people. You already know that. The only question left is, are you ready to act on it? Everything you've been told about success is a lie. You were taught that the path to a meaningful life is paved with hard work, financial stability, and social validation. That if you just follow the script, get the degree, secure the job, climb the ladder, you will eventually reach a point where you feel fulfilled, where you can finally say you've made it. But that moment never comes. No matter how much you achieve, no matter how many milestones you hit, the feeling of emptiness remains. Because real success, the kind that actually matters, was never about status, money, or approval. It was about freedom. And that is the one thing they never wanted you to realize. The system has conditioned you to seek external validation, to measure your worth by how well you fit into their framework. Your job title, your income, your possessions, your social standing. These are all distractions, artificial markers of success, designed to keep you chasing an illusion. They want you to believe that happiness is just one promotion away, that security comes from loyalty to a system that will replace you the second you stop being useful to it. They want you to keep striving, to keep grinding, to keep playing a game that was rigged against you from the start. Because as long as you are chasing, you are not thinking. And as long as you are not thinking, you are not breaking free. But success is not about how well you play their game. It is about whether you are willing to stop playing altogether. It is about reclaiming your own definition of purpose, one that is not dictated by corporate structures, by media narratives, by societal expectations. It is about understanding that time is your most valuable asset, that the only true measure of wealth is how much control you have over your own life. You do not have to sacrifice decades of your existence for a paycheck, for a title, for approval from people who will forget your name the moment you are no longer useful to them. You do not have to follow a path that was designed to lead you nowhere. You can build your own. But here is the catch. No one is going to hand it to you. No one is going to give you permission to walk away from the system. No one is going to tell you when the right time is to start living on your own terms. Because if you are waiting for the world to validate your decision to break free, it never will. The system does not reward independence. It rewards compliance. The people around you, your friends, your family, your co-workers, most of them will not understand. They will question you. They will doubt you. They will try to pull you back in, not because they want to hurt you, but because they are still trapped. Because they have not yet realized that the only way to win is to stop playing. And this is where most people fail. They see the truth, they feel the weight of the illusion, but they hesitate. They wait for someone to show them the way. They hope that if they just keep thinking, keep analyzing, and keep gathering information, they will eventually be ready. But the truth is, you will never feel ready. There will always be fear, always be uncertainty, always be a part of you that clings to the comfort of the known. The difference between those who break free and those who remain stuck is simple: action. But the journey doesn't end here. What you've discovered is only the beginning. And if you're ready to go deeper, to uncover the secrets that can't always be spoken about openly, join Insights Academy, our private newsletter. You'll receive exclusive knowledge that expands beyond what's possible to share here, along with a free copy of the Kybalion. The link is in the description, but it won't be available forever. You already know the hidden truth. The only question left is, what are you going to do about it? Because once you see the game for what it is, the only move left is yours. If this video resonated with you, let us know by commenting, "I understood it."